Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? What is up? The King of Lightning is here today, bringing you guys and gals JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, Episode 2 review. Wow. Katagiri Angelo starting this series off strong. Because this guy, sick, sadistic, just honestly fucked up in many ways, shapes, and forms. But he is bested, of course, by the heroes Jotaro and Josuke. And he was not let off easy. Because listen, if it was Jotaro, it would have been end of story, 6 feet under, KO gone. However, no. Josuke is not gonna let him off easy. And that's, yes, being killed is easy compared to what actually happened. Because you see, Angelo had killed Josuke's grandfather. And Josuke's grandpa had been a cop for 35 years. He had defended Morio. And since he died, well, basically, he said, well, you're going to stay here encased in a boulder for eternity in the same city, in Morio, the city that my grandfather defended for 35 years. That's right. Let it be known that you will not be let off easy, because death is easy. So that being said, let's get to the nitty gritty, the PB&J. Wow. First of all, animation. Let's start here. Opening and ending. Now, we didn't see them last episode, but this episode we do get to see them. The opening is good. The opening is very good. I like the colors. I feel the vibe. There's like a jazz tinge to it. The ending, they got Savage Garden's I Want You, which is cool because this follows the same trend of Stardust Crusaders, where you have Western songs be the ending of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That is a trend that they must continue. They must continue that trend. They must, because I dig it. Folks dig it. We all dig it. End of damn story. Now, moving on, the animation, it was pretty good overall. And again, it's, I think, a lot more colorful than Part 3 and Part 2 and Part 1, honestly. But it's still good animation. Like, there's no doubt about it. Once again, you have the color shifts that are always nice to see. You have the stand combat and the stand movements, like those of Crazy Diamond, those of Star Platinum, those of Aqua Necklace. They are smooth, nice. So animation overall is very, very good. Now, when it comes to the pacing, I'm not going to say it's fast, but it is relatively quick. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's not super fast. But I think it's good. Because I believe the Angelo thing in the manga was covered in like 2 or 3 chapters. And they did that all in like one episode. Basically, it looks like we're going to have at least 2 to 3 chapters in one episode. Though this may not be consistent pacing, because I think that the next part in the anime, that is going to be part 1. So there's going to be a part 2, obviously. But I think in the manga, that was actually done like 3 chapters. Or 4 chapters, possibly. So the fact of the matter here is that when it comes to this particular series, it's going to be multiple chapters per episode. That I think is very obvious. And the Angelo thing was done in 1 episode. So pacing is good. It's a little bit quick, but it's good. Now, when it comes to the story progression, because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure does seem to be a bit episodic in nature, there are certain things that are going to not excel the story at all. But there are going to be a lot of things within the confound of the episode that are actually going to move the story along quite a bit. So in this case, you have the death of Josuke's grandfather. And of course, that is a big thing because he takes on the mantle for his grandfather, wherein which he now becomes the defender, if you would, of Morio. He is now going to dedicate his life, or he's going to dedicate his time now to defending this city from any opponents, from any evil that may try and threaten it. And that all stems from the death of his grandfather. Now, the death of Josuke's grandfather is a big thing for characterization in the sense of Josuke, but I'll get to that later. On top of that, you have the defeat of Angelo, who was the opponent for this first part of Part 4. And overall, again, the guy messed up, sick and twisted, but now we know that he's encased in that boulder where apparently couples go for some odd freaking reason. I don't know, but it's now like a landmark. It's a landmark. This dude, Josuke, made a very sick, twisted landmark. Now, I will say this, though. In the manga, he was more rocky. And I'm not going the Stallone route. No. I mean, like, the face portion and the fingers that we see in the anime, like, they're still fleshy. Like they're still flesh. Whereas in the manga, he turns completely into rock, and he has that horrified face on. So probably the next time we see Angelo in the anime, he'll be covered more in rock. That's my guess. Because that's the way it was in the manga. And right now, currently, for the sake of the story, Josuke's mom is away. Now, she may come back in episode 3, but we're not too sure, because again, right now, she's away because of the death of her father. And now, that's all for story progression. But there is one last thing, but it ties into characterization. So let's jump to that. Characterization. First of all, Angelo, a sick, sadistic fuck. You find out one of his worst crimes, if not the worst crime that he committed, was against 3 14-year-old boys. And of course, that's never a good thing when you're starting off with 3 14-year-old kids. Once again, a sick, sadistic fuck. You see it not only in the way he operates, when it comes to his stand usage, when it comes to how he is scoping you out with like the binoculars. He is like this weird maniacal laugh. Like his whole demeanor is just weird and it's creepy. One of the key things that you see that points to his mental state is the fact that after he failed to have Jotaro's mom drink the milk because the bottle cap was slightly opened, in which he sees the guy and the guy's dog, the dog shit that he stepped on. He literally bites off a chunk of that dog, and then he proceeds to spit that chunk in that dude's mouth along with his stand, and then he rips out, and basically he just explodes his head. Angelo is not exactly mentally sane. This is on top of the fact that years back, Angelo did some pretty fucked up shit to some 14-year-old boys. Probably his worst crime yet. And you're like, dude, that's... what the fuck, man? Like, seriously. Like, just completely insane, psychotic. And it just so happens that one of the police officers that arrested him was Josuke's father. He knew a lot about him because apparently, I guess he was... getting data on Higashikata when he arrested him, like when he was 12 years old, even way back when. But at the same time, keep in mind that this also may be because he is a very smart person. His IQ is over 160. So, the fact of the matter here is that he knew that Josuke's grandfather liked brandy, so when Josuke did actually trap Angelo, he mimicked brandy. So not only could his stand exists in a lot of liquid forms, but also he could mimic other variants of liquid, like milk, like brandy, and so on and so forth. Even puts a label on it. Josuke's grandfather drinks it and then he dies. He gets killed from the inside out, and then the episode proceeds on for basically a waiting game until he tries to attack Josuke, where he actually does get inside his mouth, his throat. But Josuke in this case was one step ahead, which I think is a testament to his intelligence. And Josuke, he put a balloon in his throat. He broke it down with his stand. So when Angelo entered, the stand would enter in a balloon, and he was trapped via the balloon. So that was good. That was very good. So you have characterization for Angelo, obviously, but then you get characterization for Josuke, the main character of Part 4, which is very important characterization. And it also ties to the overall story progression. But first of all, one of his catchphrases, which is, "This is just great." JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is fucking full of them. Oh my god! Yada yada. And then, great or something. However he says it, alright? But this is just great. That's one of his major catchphrases. Aside from, "Don't fuck with his hair, just please." Then, of course, would be his intelligence, where again, he kind of outwitted Angelo. And then the last thing would be Josuke's commitment to protecting the city of Morio. So this right here is important characterization and character development, because the main character, Josuke, is making a commitment to simply say, I am going to protect this city in my grandfather's stead. Now his grandfather, he could feel something amiss in the city. He knew that someone, based on the experience, he could feel that there was someone very dangerous in the city. And here you have Josuke. He is now taking up the mantle for his grandfather. And that is, of course, very important to the overall story, because now you see the foundation of that character being built. It's the foundation of Josuke the character. So that being said, I am done. Fini! Now, when it comes to the overall episode rating, it's going to be a great plus. This was a very good fucking episode. Angelo, he starts this shit off strong. And you have a major event off the gate where, again, you have Josuke's grandfather die. And on top of that, the fact that Josuke, he's letting it be known here and now that he will defend this city instead of his grandfather. Well, right there, you see where he stands from a foundation standpoint. So once again, the rating is going to be a great plus, and I'm done. So King of Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice goddamned day.